to this session, and our very first topic is on Portuguese as a foreign language in China, testing challenges in the future in relation to contexts, profiles, and pandemic restrictions. And our speakers are Catarina Gaspar, Maria José Grosso, and Milena Sousa from the University of Lisbon and from CAPLE. And just to remind you all that there is a chat function up to your left if you want to ask any questions or make comments throughout the presentation. And otherwise, you can have, if there is time, you can ask some questions at the end. So thank you very much, Catarina. You may now begin. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First, we would like to congratulate ALTE for organizing this impressive online conference. We would like also to thank CAPLE in Lisbon, namely its director, Professor Nelly Alexandre, the support to our research and for the work we will present today. This paper aims to identify the challenges of testing Portuguese foreign language regarding the variable academic, technological, and sociocultural contexts in mainland China and Macao, and its relation to Chinese students' profiles. Thus, it aims to provide an overview of the challenges and new directions that Portuguese foreign language assessment has in China, and if new technologies offer solutions to fulfill the needs of this audience. Our presentation has 4 parts. We will speak about the context in mainland China and Macao. We will speak about challenges of Portuguese foreign language in China, the differences we have, and namely those between 2018, 2019, and 2020 in these years, and the new directions that testing in Portuguese foreign language should take in the future in China. Regarding the context of the teaching and learning of Portuguese as foreign language in China, first we highlight the increasing number of courses. In Macau, we have 7 universities and other institutions with Portuguese foreign language courses targeted to academic and non-academic audience, such as the case of Instituto Português do Oriente. In mainland China, there are 52 universities with an impressive number of students in bachelor and master or other postgraduate courses. We really may say that Portuguese is a growing small foreign language. It is still smaller than English and other foreign languages, but the number of the students is increasing each year in line with the number of institutions with Portuguese foreign language courses. The Portuguese language is strategic and attractive for those seeking professional opportunities in the globalized routes that cross the Portuguese-speaking countries like Brazil, Angola, or Mozambique. In Macau, Portuguese is until 2049 one of the 2 official languages. The other is Chinese Mandarin. Cantonese remains the most widely used language in everyday life. Mandarin is studied formally and is used with people from mainland China and do not know how to speak Cantonese. Almost all institutions have someone who speaks Mandarin, and the migration flows from mainland China and other regions are changing the linguistic landscape here. Generally, public information on the streets is in Portuguese, Chinese, and English. We find the Portuguese language mainly in the educational sphere, particularly inside the classroom, or just among small groups of residents who have Portuguese as their native language or heritage language, as some Macanese. Although English is more spoken than Portuguese, there is a minimal percentage of population who can understand and speak this language. The relevance of Portuguese foreign language in mainland China and Macau is related to its role as mediator of economic and political interests, mainly by those between China and Portuguese-speaking countries. Here, we can just We can see just one example of the many newspapers reports about Portuguese foreign language learning increase in China. In our research about Portuguese foreign language adult Chinese learners profile made by Grosso, Teixeira, and Gaspar, forthcoming, we have found that the learners are young, mostly women, university students, have academic international mobility experience in a Portuguese-speaking country, usually Portugal and Brazil, and have high-tech skills. We may say they are a kind of hyper-digital natives. So, bearing in mind our research aims, we asked, can we find the same profile in CAPLE's exams candidates? The answer is yes, as we will show later. So, how do these learners or candidates' profile can be correlated to the challenges of pandemic restrictions in Portuguese foreign language testing in China? Portuguese foreign language testing in China is related with the Brazilian examination system, CELPRAS, and with CAPLE. Our research will just focus on the CAPLE examinations. In mainland China and Macao, we have these 6 locations, 3 in Macao, and 1 in Beijing, 1 in Shaoxing, 1 in Shanghai. The Shanghai location lacks of data for the 3 years we have in our study, so we will just present data concerning Beijing and Shaoxing. Regarding this context, we have crisscrossed 2 main questions. Are these 6 locations enough for a growing number of students, namely in mainland China, and bearing in mind the pre-COVID-19 context, and what changed in 2020 due to the pandemic context, namely regarding the public health sanitary restrictions, the access to buildings, the number of persons per room, the restrictions on mobility, both national and international restrictions, lockdown effects, low linguistic and cultural immersion, which affected Portuguese foreign language learners and CAPLE's exams candidates. Moreover, it is essential not to forget psychological factors like fear, feeling insecure, that have a negative influence. In Macau, although the current population is fairly high, there were no deaths by COVID-19, nor were there more than 50 cases. This was only possible due to the very stringent measures adopted by the Macau government, among them total confinement, mandatory use of a mask, social distance, mandatory use of a health code, quarantine for 14 days, currently now 21 days and 28 for those who came from Brazil, online classes, and closing the borders by air, sea, and land. So how does this affect the CAPLE exams? The CAPLE exams were affected in different ways. Many candidates could not arrive at the location, or they were afraid to be with other persons in the same room during the exam, or they felt they were not well prepared for the exam because they had less linguistic immersion. To reduce to the minimum the adverse effects of these actions, CAPLE allowed the candidates to postpone their inscription to other available date or the cancellation with the full refund of the payment. So to understand the real impact restrictions of pandemic restrictions in CAPLE examinations, the data concerning Chinese candidates were analyzed comparing the years 2018, 2019, and 2020. Let us see now these results. Chinese were 18% of the total CAPLE's candidates in the 3 years. This percentage allows us to see that the growing number of Portuguese foreign language learners means a growing number of Chinese candidates. As we said before, the CAPLE's candidates have the same profile as the Portuguese foreign language Chinese adult learners. They are young, They are adults, but they are young. They have their age between 19 and 25 years old, and they are mainly in higher education or postgraduate studies. 76% of candidates are women, and we may say we find the same profile general as in Chinese, Portuguese foreign language adult. This data is in line with the reasons for the certification. 62% made the CAPLE exams for academic reasons. Only 14.1% did it for personal reasons, and 12.9% choose professional motivations. In what regards level, B2 and C1 have the highest number of candidates in these 3 years. These are the most valuable levels for academic audience because they need a Portuguese foreign language international certificate to access postgraduate studies. However, these two levels and lockdown effect also justify why they get the worst results. We have 49.4% has insufficient and 29.8% would reach just sufficient. So we must highlight that 14.3% gave up or missed the exam. This might be a consequence of the 2020 health crisis. Let us see now the differences between the data of these 3 years. We can see the growing number of candidates in B2 and C1 in the years 2018 and 2019, and the decreasing number in 2020. For instance, in the B2 exam, here, in 2019, we have 40% of candidates. In 2020, we have only 24%, almost half. In the C1 exam, in 2019, we had 31%. In 2020, we had only 18%. On the level exam, this one, had a small increasing number of candidates in 2020. Perhaps many of its candidates are Chinese immigrants that need the certificate to get the permanent authorization to stay in Portugal. They did not have travel restrictions to go to the exam location. Let us see the global data concerning the number of Chinese candidates in each location. Locations in Macao, you can see them here, had the highest number of candidates. In mainland China, Shaoxing had 13.7% and Beijing had 9.2%. This is quite surprising because, but it can be explained because Shaoxing is in the Zhejiang province, an important and commercial area related to the external markets of Portuguese-speaking countries. Data concerning locations in other countries are also relevant. In Portugal, we have here the data concerning Portugal. Locations in Lisbon, Leiria, Aveiro, and Porto had a significant number of Chinese candidates who applied for the CAPLE exams during their international academic mobility year in linguistic and cultural immersion. We must also highlight the 1.6% here in the first column that applied for the Portuguese foreign language exams in Angola. This can be a small group representative of this audience academic and professional opportunities in this African Portuguese-speaking country. Now, when comparing the numbers of each year and in each location, we can conclude that in Macau, the number of candidates in 2020 is slightly lower than in 2018 and 2019. In 2019, we had 213 candidates. In 2020, we had 204, so it's just slightly lower. Here, the pandemic context did not cause a significant drop in the number of candidates. In mainland China, we had a significant growth in Shaoxing. In 2019, we had 144. In 2020, 262. However, in Beijing, the growth between 2018 and 2019 is interrupted by the absence of examinations in 2020, probably due to several causes, but also by travel restrictions inside mainland China and from Macao. So many students did not go to the academic international mobility programs, or they returned home in 2020. This data can also explain the drop of the number of candidates in Portugal during 2020. Just one example, in Lisbon, in locations in Lisbon, in 2019 we had 174, in 2020 84, just 84. So to sum up, we have the same audience profile both for Portuguese foreign language learning and testing. The number of learners and candidates is increasing. However, the existing network of locations for the exams is sufficient for demand. Because many candidates apply for Portuguese foreign language exams during their academic mobility in Portugal or in Brazil, because they recognize that linguistic and cultural immersion is advantageous. Regarding testing challenges due to the pandemic situation or other alike, we can ask if new technologies provide adequate solutions to Portuguese foreign language testing demand in the Chinese context. We may say no, because there is no large-scale testing of Portuguese foreign language yet, and it demands a new construct and changes in teaching and learning in China. Moreover, Chinese candidates have high technical skills and access to technology. However, the Portuguese foreign language teaching and learning are still traditional, and it is not economical viable. Reliable technological solutions require high economical technical investment. In 2020, regarding pandemic context, we can conclude that there was a decrease in the number of candidates, but it was not so significant. Candidates have a strong motivation to take the exam. Whoever signed up remains interested in taking the exam. There were difficulties in traveling, but were tackled with the possibility of taking the exam later. The existence of quarantine in Macao and mainland China had a negative impact, namely the low results. Also, because we have more candidates applying to higher CFF levels, B2 and C1, but mostly they just got insufficient and sufficient, as said before. So this can be a consequence. This can be, a lockdown consequence in mainland China and Macau. Many candidates stayed or returned to China. Whoever stayed in the country of mobility in Portugal was also confined with few opportunities for communication and linguistic and cultural immersion. So these were our findings about the challenge of Portuguese foreign language testing in China. It's not just a technological challenge, but first a pedagogical teaching and learning challenge. Thank you for listening, guys.
Obrigada.